I am totally all right.
Hello and happy Tuesday. We are live today with It's All About Choices, Nutrition, Fitness, Weight Management Academy, taking a holistic approach. And I am excited. We have our monthly up close and personal segment with our very own special guest, Miss Tracey Jackson,
Hello,
hailing all the way from the MIA, Florida.
everybody.
How are you feeling this morning, Tracy?
I am feeling wonderful. Thank you so much for having me today, Sandra.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to speak open, honest, transparently to our listeners today. And I know you have a lot to share
A
that
lot.
will really help people out.
Yeah.
And I have titled, or not I, but Tracy's story is titled How She Finally Lost 40 Pounds Without Gaining It Back, despite years of extreme dieting that led to hormonal imbalances, nutrition deficiencies, high sugar, high cholesterol levels, and it was actually put on anxiety meds. So Tracy has a lot to share today. And if you are surprised, just say I relate. Okay. So we got a live person that's really here to talk about some serious real talk. And Tracy and I, Tracy, she has overcome many, many obstacles, battling weight and battling dieting over her majority of her life. And so we have some familiar roots. We go back to FAMU. Specifically, we were in the Marching 100, and but our paths did not cross until 2020. And so the beauty of HBCUs, no matter when you matriculated through, there's always a connection when you finally meet. And in the band world, it's all about our freshman year. So Tracy came in '97, and I came in '88. So and see, I was long gone when she applied for Seven Hills, but we met in 2020. And we have been connected ever since. And Facebook also has a really big advantage of connecting people with similar interests. And so we are both part of a private Facebook group, and it's related, and it has Marching 100 ladies in this group. And so I would post in this group on a regular basis. And then one day, she reached out to me, and after what she termed at that time the crash, and she's going to go into more details about what that is. And that occurred from extreme dieting that she had experienced. And so Tracy was at her highest weight just prior to our shutdown. Remember our shutdown back in March of 2020, and she stated she was around 290 ish. And then when we started together, she had actually come down to about 277, and but she was stuck there. She was stuck there, and in a whole other lot of other things going on that she's going to share. And together we were able to get her down to 254. And that was around maybe February of 2021. And
Yeah.
so the good news is she's been maintaining it. She has been maintaining that. I mean, she's around that 255, 260
It's around that,
weight.
yeah.
But that is, maintenance. That's really good because she didn't put it all back on. That was 36 pounds she had lost that she did not put back on. And so that is the beauty of it. And so for those who are tuning in and those who are listening in, I encourage you to um, chime in, ask questions, because I will be able to post the question. And so while Tracy's on, she can maybe address anything that you have, any questions that you have that are burning. I am getting my windows ready so that I can see you when you post any questions. And then we're going to jump right in. And we got one more window to get set up. And then I will be able to see your comments as you tune in. So feel free to say hello, and we're gonna have some fun today, okay? And so tune in throughout. And so Tracy, share with everybody, your line of work and what you do.
Okay. So I work within technology. I am a user experience designer. Actually, I'm a senior level user experience designer. I know a lot of folks are like, well, what's a user experience designer? Let's just say I design software for web applications and mobile apps, and also web applications as well. So that's the brunt of it. That's the gist of it all. To even make it a little bit more understanding, a little bit more for the layman's terms, like you have an architect that makes blueprints for buildings and skyscrapers and things like that. Think of me as an architect that makes blueprints for web applications, mobile apps, and desktop software, and all of that other great stuff. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do in a
Oh,
nutshell. I'm a nerd. I'm coming out of the FAMU CIS department, so
I was there too. See? Small world.
See, exactly,
I was
Sergeant.
there too. I was there too. My first
Yes.
career was I was computer information systems. So this
Yep,
was the
me too.
second
I was
career.
information systems as well.
And you got a shout out from Nikki.
Listen, that's she is more than a freshman sister. That's my sister.
All right. Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
my
Awesome.
sister from another mister.
So she giving you a little
Oklahoma.
love and support there. And so
Yes.
let's talk about let's rewind a little bit. So at what age did your weight loss journey begin?
Oh, geez. You know what? It really started the fall 97. Let me tell you how it started fall 97. Um, when I
Uh-oh.
came home, everybody remembers how they came home from pre-drill looking, a little 10 shades darker and skinny. So that's exactly what happened. And my mom said to me, she's like, wow, you look so different. You look like a model. You're so slim. And I'm like, huh? You know? And I just remember how that felt, clothes was falling off. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's fast forward. When right before senior year, I started picking up weight. Or I said right before graduation year, I started picking up weight. But again, I started doing unconventional methods to try to get the weight off. We all learned those unconventional methods throughout the years. So it's like, all right, I'm about to, graduate. Let me just, eat this cup of soup and some bread and water and just call it a day. That's all I ate the last 4 months of my graduating year at A&M to lose the weight. I
Mhm.
think I lost about 30 pounds. I just had tomato soup and toast.
Oh.
Breakfast was like a cup of oatmeal. I don't remember eating much, but either way, fast forward again. I graduate, go home, the weight comes back. More unconventional methods. I just remember trying to, cut calories by dang near starving myself and exercising like a maniac. That worked several times, off and on over the years.
Mhm.
And then I want to talk about 2017, which was I like to call it the crash. I was coming up to my 20th high school reunion and, a whole lot of things, great things going on. I'm like, I really want to finally kick this weight to the curb. I want to get the monkey off my back. I want to beat the bully. So I remember starting, I think it was this green smoothie cleanse, right? Did the
Mhm.
green smoothie cleanse. And I did that instead of, I think the directions were was just to do it like a week or 2 weeks or whatnot. I just did it. I just kept going. Month one, month two, month three, I'm still like 2 smoothies a day with nuts and all that kind of other things during the day, and then a meal at night. And then it's not like I was just walking or doing like small moderate exercises. No, if any of you've heard of Orange Theory,
Oh.
it's like the cousin to CrossFit. It's like
Yes.
it's like the more cuter, more conservative cousin to CrossFit. So
Mhm.
imagine doing those intensive exercises
Mhm.
three
Yes.
times a week,
Mhm.
barely eating, and I
Mhm.
had a trainer on top of that.
Mm.
So I'm
Mm.
exercising 5 times a week, these intensive workouts, barely eating, and it worked, right? I lost a whole 45, 50 pounds. I went from 260 to 210. Now, for those that know me, I'm very tall. I'm 5'10". So if you're 5'10" and you're like 210, you're very slender, right? So that was me. I went on a cruise that summer. I went to my high school reunion. I was slim. Uh, Classmates didn't recognize me. Like, wow, Tracy, you look great. This, and all this other stuff. Went on a cruise. I wore my first bikini. Like
Mhm.
I wore my first bikini at 40. I forgot how old I was when thing, but first bikini. Never wore one of those before. Had it on. You couldn't tell me nothing. Then I remember Hurricane Irma coming around. Now this was like the most busiest time of life for me. I
Mhm.
was working on a very stressful project that required me to travel back and forth from Miami to Chicago. At the time, I was working as a consultant with a top five firm, and I was
Mhm.
traveling a lot. I had a very demanding boss, and there was this project was so high level. There were a lot of eyes on this project as well. And you want to factor in the fact that I was the only chocolate chip on the team. You always got to have that extra level of difficulty and everything. So only black woman on the team, a lot of eyes on the project, demanding boss, traveling back and forth from Miami to Chicago, and then the hurricane comes. So I gotta Look out for my mom, look out for my brother, go put up shutters, just do everything and be everything for them. Now, I'm not eating during this time, or I should say, I'm just drinking these smoothie shakes, but I had a whole lot of stress going on. Then on top of that, they say, "Oh, this Cat 5 is coming." So I'm like extremely nervous, worried, scared, whatever. And I'm literally working on the assignments right up until the power goes off because the client was located in Chicago. So it's like they don't really have a recollection of what a tropical cyclone like a hurricane can do. South Florida. So I'm already stressed out. The storm is storming outside. You know, my mom and my brother are here. I'm still barely eating. I remember drinking protein shakes during during the hurricane because I was scared to eat because I had lost so much weight and I didn't want to put on any weight. Okay, so then I had to travel back to Chicago after the storm was done. Um, I remember when right the day before I left to Chicago, or if I got the call to go back to Chicago, I remember not eating. Still, I was drinking protein shakes at this time because couldn't do green smoothies because the power was in and out, in and out.
Gotcha.
So doing these workouts, burpees, running around the neighborhood, clothes still falling off. I felt great, but then again, I forgot I had to go to a wedding that Saturday, and then had to be back for a bridal. So it was just back to 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 back stress. And next thing you know, I'm in meetings and I'm experiencing heart palpitations, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Either way, that really busy period passed, and catch this. I was so busy I couldn't buy a dress down in Miami. So when I went to Chicago and I was traveling for work, and this is what weight loss does to you. It makes you feel like you can do anything, but not knowing that your body's being destroyed. I walked right into a Marshall's. I snagged a size 14 dress off the rack. I said, "Oh, I know it's gonna fit," and that's why I'm like, "Oh, this is great," but not knowing that my heart started palpitating. I started having headaches. I started having dizzy spells. Then insomnia hit. When my first bout of insomnia hit, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on." Couldn't understand why I couldn't go to sleep, but I looked good. Okay, great. So I kept up with the smoothies. I kept up with the protein shakes. I kept up with all of that until my body finally gave out on me. They were going to send me to Atlanta to do some work, and I literally sat down in my chair and I was so overwhelmed that I just started tearing up because I didn't have any energy, and I just started feeling nervous and I just started shaking. And I went to my doctor, and the first thing the doctor said, "Oh, Ms. Jackson, you lost a significant amount of weight. How did you do it?" I said, "Oh, I've been doing this, this, this." And the doctor started looking at me like, "But you're not eating. What's going on with your nutrition?" And I'm like, "Well, I had to lose a whole bunch of weight." "Well, how fast did you lose the weight?" "Oh, a couple months." So, needless to say, I had to temporarily take anxiety medication, and I had to start eating again to reverse what was going on in my body due to a lack of nutrition. So Christmas time was an eye opener for me. Now, catch this. I said the last dress size I had was a size 14. Okay. I still wasn't eating all the way. Was still going through the symptoms and still trying to get myself back to, where I was. And I was going to a Christmas party. So I grabbed a size 14 off the rack. It was too big. I was like, "Oh my gosh, maybe it's this particular dress." I grab another 14. It was too big. Then I was like, "Oh my God, let me grab this 12." I grabbed the 12. I put on the 12. The 12 fit, and it looked like it give me another week of still not doing what the doctor was telling me. I was going to be in a 10, but I wasn't happy about it because I was very nervous and I didn't know what was going on with my body. And it's almost like my body just started to protest me and say, "You know what, Tracey, we're done. We're going to shut down until you actually start giving us some real nutrition." So so a month later, I was put on another travel project again. And that's another thing. When you're working these high stress jobs, I didn't realize if you're not putting enough nutrition in your body and you're working these high stress jobs, it could actually do some damaging effects. So I'm traveling. My work travel group, they skew, a little bit younger. So they're into the whole foodie scene, right? And we were literally eating 3 times a day. We're having breakfasts, we're having lunches, we're having dinners. Next thing you know, the more I started to eat, the less and less I had to rely on the anxiety medication, to the point where I what's it call it, the dosage was significantly reduced. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm eating. This is why. This is why. So yeah, and of course, with the nutrition and the eating, and next thing you know, the body's like, well, we're just gonna hold on
Mm-hmm.
good food because we don't know if she's gonna starve us out again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
right before I went to hook up with Sandra, I went back to, okay, well, the weight is coming back. And I mean, the weight came back with a vengeance. It came back with cousins, friends, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, boyfriends, girlfriends, food things. It came with luggage. It came with everything. And no matter what I tried,
Mm-hmm.
back to the green smoothies. I went back to killing myself in the gym. Matter of fact, I went back to the same trainer. And he was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this. And I mean, he pounded my body. When I say he tried to pound my body, he couldn't even make a dent. He's a power lifter. So he tried to have me, lift, like power lift with him to really get the body to jolt it to start. And no, I just
Mm-hmm.
got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the weight started going up and then going up and then going up. I'm like, but wait a minute, I'm not eating that much. I'm eating, 1,500 calories. Why am I not? Why isn't the weight going anywhere? And
Mm.
I was at a loss. And at that point, I was like, I have to see a nutritionist because I'm not doing something right. And
Yeah.
I went to do, I was doing, I even tried keto. I tried keto for a bit. It worked and then it stopped.
Yeah. Go into details about the keto because you had mentioned what I'm gonna do a Tracy quote. You said you detested eating more than once a day because you didn't want to gain weight.
Yes, I did not want to eat.
Yeah. So talk about, you said you did strict keto. So
I
give
did strict
people the
keto.
details of that, just in what
I
you
did.
did exactly, and
Oh
was.
God, I literally did strict keto. Sometimes I would do strict keto to the point where I was doing the OMAD, 1 meal a day.
Mhm.
I would just eat 1 meal a day. And for but my body was like, I want more food. And the more I kept putting, the more I would, eat, do the strict keto. It was like my body would just stall. It did not want to. It didn't want to lose the weight. It didn't want to not lose the weight. It didn't want to release the weight.
Mhm.
It didn't want to release the weight. So
Mhm.
I kept going between keto and I kept going between keto and green smoothies. Keto, green smoothie cleanse, keto, green smoothie cleanse, keto. I kept going back and forth between the two and nothing was working. I couldn't make a dent. I couldn't do nothing. And I really just started to get discouraged.
Okay. And how long would you say you went through this slump here?
Oh my gosh, let's see. 2017, 2018. I got to you at the beginning of the almost at the beginning. So that was about what, late 2019,
Yeah.
2020.
Yes.
Yeah, 2020. 2020. So it was about, let's see, 2019. Dude, that's when I went on a cruise and came back heavier. Don't go on a cruise, but actually go on a cruise, but just anticipate you're gonna put on 10 pounds. But either way, when I got back from the cruise and I was like, oh my goodness, I
Hmm.
gotta do something here. And that's when I went up to my heaviest, and that was 290 something. 290.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
By the time I got to you, Sandra, I was 290.
Hmm. And what would you say was, how would you describe your relationship with carbs?
Oh, I hated them. I didn't even want to touch them. Like
Hmm.
somebody would say bread. Oh, don't touch bread. It was
Hmm.
like, mm-mm. Don't touch bread. Don't touch rice. Don't touch potatoes. Don't touch any of that stuff. Don't touch. And for years, I did not eat carbs. Or if I did eat carbs, it was very minimal.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like I said, when I was younger, it worked. When I got older, it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your challenges with food cravings, like sweet cravings, and how?
Horrible sweet tooth.
Hmm.
It was horrible.
And
Like, I would eat 1 meal a day, right? Or eat once a day or barely eat, but I will take down 4 Subway cookies from Subway in one sitting and not care, cuz that's how horrible the sweet tooth was, not knowing my body was like, I need carbs.
yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
carbs. I
Yes.
didn't know.
Right, and that's exactly what happened. That's like one of the number one triggers of if you restrict too much. I mean, we all need carbs. Yes, we all need a cap on carbs. You know, everybody's amount is different, but when it's too little for what your body needs, then you will crave
Oh,
everything under the sun. Everything that you are trying to stay away from.
it was
It's what you will
horrible,
crave.
Sandra. It was horrible. Like now that I'm back to eat it because now I'm a amateur, or I should say a newbie duathlete. So I have to eat or I will pass out on a bike. I'm a
Yes,
cyclist slash
ma'am.
duathlete.
You're lucky
Now
you didn't
it's
pass out with Orange Theory.
right. So it's
Yes.
like if I'm about to do these 100 miles on a bike, I need to eat. So now
Hmm.
that I'm doing the eating and whatnot, I don't even crave for the cookies anymore because the
Hmm.
body is getting it's
More of
being
what it needs. Yeah.
satiated with
You
other
have a
things.
cookie and you're okay with it, but you don't need to eat like a dozen of them to,
I don't.
to
I
satisfy
don't.
you.
Now
Yeah.
I will say 3 weeks ago I took down some Girl Scout cookies and
Well,
but I
it's that season. It is that season.
and
And
then
so tell us
we
about the,
satisfied that, and then okay, we're done with that.
yep.
Now we're back into training. So,
Hmm. Yep. And so
but
share more about the crash because I think that's about I think that was a trigger that led you to reach out to me. So tell us about what was that crash
the
in your
crash actually, the crash was me just basically looking in the mirror and saying, I do not like what I see. I don't like how I feel. I remember, and I used to do a lot of 5Ks a long time ago. It wouldn't be nothing for me to go, jog a mile or jog 2 miles or go down to the fitness trail here in Aventura, Florida, do, like a quick 3 mile and be done with it in less than like maybe 35, 40 minutes tops.
Mhm.
When I started jogging and when I started feeling my left knee, I would feel a sharp pain. I knew something was wrong. I had way too much weight on my body and I just didn't know how to get it off. And I said to myself, I have to do something. What I'm doing is not working. And my best friend said to me, she's like, well, why don't let's try a nutritionist because you've restricted so much out of your diet, Tracy, that your body is like, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, you know, we're going to take a shot in the dark here. And I was like, oh, great. I'm in the Marching 100 Women's Fitness Forum. There's a nutritionist in there. And she black. So
It kind of
she
worked out.
knows about the cultural eatings of black women. I
Yes.
come from a
Yes.
Jamaican background,
Yes.
but I need someone to understand
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
cultural, traditions and foods and whatnot, because we don't want to give up our jerk chicken. We don't want to give up our,
Mhm.
well, me, like I said, I'm Jamaican. We don't
Yes.
want to give up our festival, which is basically, fried white flour. Anyway, but yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'm like, well,
Absolutely.
let me talk to this beautiful black nutritionist, and this is like a shot in the dark, last stop before I go pawn something and go down to Dr. Miami and some liposuction or something.
And you know what? It's funny you say that because I hear that a lot. It's almost like going to a dietitian is the last resort. Like you tried to go at it alone for years and years and years. We did diet A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. And finally, and it's a double-edged sword. It's almost a good thing and it's not so good thing because at
Right.
least I know that you're not going to have any doubts. You got it out your system. What didn't work. With the things you tried,
Mhm.
and so now we can only go no, we can only go one way, which is
We can only
down,
go one way now,
which is weight loss. and
which is weight
so
loss.
and so would you how would you encourage others, like when should they have that stopping point to say, hey, you tried, get help? Like when do you feel, based on your journey, like when do you wish you would have done it looking back in retrospect?
Um, it's that moment when you realize that your body will tell you. Your body will tell you. And when you start feeling your body breaking down, when you look at your body in the mirror and you just know, like, this is too much weight to be carrying. That's number one. Number two, when you start um when you start experiencing things like insomnia, when you start experiencing things like knee pain, when you all of a sudden you're at work and it's like heart palpitations, like stuff that you wouldn't normally feel, that you're feeling. And we all say, okay, because it's age. All right, yeah, it's age. However, what can we do to combat that? Like
Mhm.
what kind of cushion can we ensure that we have in place so that we can mitigate some of these things that are going to happen? Because I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43 in August. I don't care about sharing my age because I don't look
Amen.
it.
Age, age is nothing but a
I
number. I'll throw that
don't
out
look, I
there.
don't look it. It must be the bike in Orange Theory keeping me looking young.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that there is a cushion to kind of mitigate, what's getting older, like, and when bodily functions and things, start to kind of not
Mhm.
do what they're supposed to do, and nutrition plays a big part in that.
Yeah, it does. It does. And we have some comments. And so for those who are still on, definitely make comments, ask questions. And so we're going to say hello to Tiffany. And she is speaking in line with you, saying she doesn't eat enough in her relationship. She has a love-hate relationship with carbs. And so,
Tell me about
and
it.
and trust me, I like I told Tracy, it is very common. You are not alone. I mean, everything you
You are
read, everything
not
you see, the
alone.
marketing out there, why would you? Why it looks great? I mean, people are losing. Why would you not follow it? And then here I come along. You need to eat some carbs. You need to eat a little bit more. So it's almost like, wow, she's saying something totally opposite, but yet XYZ lost this many pounds, and especially if the person is losing. Tracy had lost a lot of weight, so it's hard to tell somebody eat some carbs when they're telling you, oh, I lost weight because I didn't eat carbs. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole point that she's trying to express, and that the main message that we're trying to get today to you all, is that you got to think long term. You got to think about the total body. And in the short term, it seems to work, but we don't want other aspects of your life to suffer. Like, unfortunately, she had anxiety, she had insomnia. You have some people who their cholesterol gets high, their sugar levels get high. So you don't want all of that to suffer just because of weight loss. We want to be able to lose the weight and still keep your body whole and still keep your body healthy all at the same time. So we want to be able to address the total body. And so how has your relationship with food changed since you've been able to use food as medicine now?
Oh gosh, it has changed dramatically. I no longer really see it as an enemy. I
Good.
really look at it as medicine because, like I say, for those that do know me, I am a cyclist, and I have done several 100-mile and 1 day rides.
Mm,
I ride 30 to 50. I ride 30 to 50 miles a week, several days a week.
nice.
So I cannot be starving going out on the bike. I will pass out.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm on a road bike. I'm literally, gravity, right? I'm using my legs and legs and gravity to push me forward on the bike for miles and miles on end. And also I do several fast rides a week. Matter of fact, tonight I'm doing a fast ride with a bunch of men. Who, they ride fast. But I need that energy
Energy.
so I could pedal so I don't pass out.
Yeah, yeah. And how are you doing physically? Energy levels. You used to experience headaches, fatigue,
The headaches and
fog, mental fog. How is all
the
that?
headaches, fatigue, and the mental fog stopped.
Good,
It
good.
stopped completely. So now sometimes I'm like, and sometimes my mind will try to revert back to, oh, you only need 1 meal a day. I'm like, no, no, I'm gonna eat this breakfast, I'm gonna eat this lunch, and after this ride, I'm gonna eat this fish with this potato and some
Yeah,
vegetables, and I'm gonna eat
yeah. Think
because
post workout
yes, especially
recovery.
I already have my items lined up to cook after when I get in from the bike ride tonight. Matter of fact, after this, I have my lunch, big lunch sitting at the desk because I
Yeah,
want to make sure I have what I need in my body.
exactly. And
And
remember,
that
she's 5'10", so she's
I'm
not,
10.
I'm 5'4", so she needs to eat in order to
I
fuel the
need
body and her level of
to eat.
activity. You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
I need
So
to
yeah, 1,200 calories is not gonna cut it for everybody.
eat. Right.
And so, what are your top three things that you would say that we did together that you found most helpful for you and for your longer term success?
Um, oh my gosh. When you actually laid out, hey, here's the amount of carbs you should be eating a day. Here's the amount of fruits. Here's the amount of protein. Here's the amount of vegetables. Here's how many times you should be eating a day. That was a game changer for me because we're so used to the okay 3 square meals or whatnot, and sometimes I slip. Like Matt, I just said breakfast, lunch, dinner, but I should be thinking about well, dang, I'm talking to
Yeah,
Sonya.
a few snacks, right? Depending on yeah.
Like, oh, she gonna pull me to the side, Tracy? Where your steak?
No, 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 no. I'm quite sure your body told you.
Right, right. Body like,
I'll tell you.
what you doing?
But that's good.
But definitely going over the amount of food I should be eating per day and at the intervals I should be eating. That's
Good.
number one. Number two, the kinds of foods that I can eat. Right. I remember we were talking about this earlier when you said, yeah, you get a slice of potato bread, potato, and bread in the same. That's what you talking about, Willis. So wait a minute. You said potato bread? I can eat a slice of that. Well, no.
Yes, we had to fight a little bit. We had to tug of war a little bit with this
Yeah,
carb
we had
thing.
a tug of war because I was like, I'm not eating no potato bread. But just realizing that there's a world of food items that are open to you, and it's all in moderation. You're not going to be eating 10 slices of potato bread on one day.
Right.
You're not going to be eating like a slice of potato bread like every day, or it could just be interchangeable. But there's just so many options and just so many things to have and to try that it actually becomes fun thinking of different combinations. That was the second thing. The third thing is the one thing, trying to break bad food habits. And when I say bad food habits, it's not, I eat a hot dog every Friday. I mean, a bad food habit is I going to cut out this whole entire food group and you can't make me add it back. It's kind of like having a healthier disposition towards food. And it's actually the patience and kind of changing the mindset. I mean, I know, some folks, will feel that, oh, well, this particular eating regimen, it's working for me. It's working for me. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But there's going to come a point where it may backfire. Because if you notice when you go to the hospital, or if you notice when you go in the nursing home, I come from a family of medicine and whatnot. And when they feed you at the hospital, what do they give you? What does the dietary staff give you? They give you a carb. They give you a protein. They give you a vegetable. Depending on what day, they give you milk, a juice, and sometimes soda. So I'm looking and I'm like, wait, so if dietary at these medical institutions are giving, this, then can't be bad.
It's a red flag, right?
It's like,
Right.
what? Oh,
Yes.
it can't be bad.
Yeah,
So
I always say God created 5 food groups for a reason. There's a reason. We're human. We're not 4-legged animals. We are humans, so we have different needs, and it's there for a reason. And it works for you when we know how to work it. And so I always say if the eating pattern is saying you got to cut out fruit for X amount of weeks, or you got to cut out a whole food group for 3 weeks, and then you slowly reintroduce this red flag. Red flag, because it doesn't take all that to get it going. And so
since you keep taking out and reintroduce, eventually that the body's going to be like, nope. Nope.
Yeah. And so since you've made these changes, because you have made a significant amount of changes, what would you say has changed for you? Like what are you able to do now that you weren't able to do maybe prior to 2020? Like what's different?
Adding a carb to my lunch and my dinner option. I couldn't do that before. You couldn't pay me.
You didn't think you could, right?
I didn't think I could. You couldn't pay me. Couldn't pay me at all. But now I'm like, okay, I need a starch, carb, whatever. I need a carb, I need a veggie, I need a protein.
Yeah.
And also knowing how much protein, the fistful, and I even have I think I showed you the plate that I had with the sections.
You did.
So now it's like I have it ingrained in my head. My plate needs to look something like this, or my plate needs to look like that. Before it was plate would be just full with vegetables and like small piece of protein and like no carb. And then 3 hours later, I'm eating like 5 cookies.
Yeah. Which you're getting carbs just from a source that's not working for you.
A source that's not working.
Well, but that even being said, so now you have more energy. You have a
Yes.
totally different outlook. You like what
Yes.
you see in the mirror. So what has that allowed you to do?
Oh my
That you,
gosh. So let me tell you about being a cyclist, right? Um being a cyclist makes you keep your eating in check. I'm going to tell you why. We have to wear these very tight spandex clothing. We wear they're called kits, right? You wear the bottom, you wear the top, and I mean, it shows everything. Okay, it will even show the 10 cookies you had 2 weeks ago. Cough, cough. So it makes you
okay?
keep your eating in check. And like I said, I cycle several times a week, so I'm wearing this tight kit. So you at least want to look somewhat decent in your kit. You don't want to look like a pregnant cow. That's
Yeah,
number one. Number two, you also it's performance on
yeah.
the bike. I know when I put on weight because I'm moving slower and I can't.
Hmm.
My pedal stroke isn't as snappy. It's
Hmm.
but when I've tightened it back up again, now my pedal stroke is it's rapid
Okay.
fire.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
mhm.
Well, what words of wisdom do you have for those who are listening that were in your same position at one time? Like maybe they're experiencing headaches or they're tired all the time. They got the brain fog. They're frustrated because they're like, no matter what I do, this weight is not coming off and they're not understanding why. Like, what words of wisdom would you give to them?
My words of wisdom would be to know that whatever extreme thing that you're doing to lose the weight, you're gonna have to do it. How you get it is how you keep it. And knowing that if you're barely eating, you're barely getting the nutrition that you need, there will be some medical consequences. Now, folks like to say, "Oh, well, beauty is pain. Beauty is not." Uh, it's painful when your doctor has to say, "I have to temporarily put you on
Yes.
medication because you lacking nutrition so much that there are certain bodily functions that are misfiring because you're lacking the nutrition that the body needs to make healthy cells push the blood through your body and regenerate itself when you go to sleep at night."
Hmm. Yeah.
So, I know a lot of my I know a lot of my sisters would be like, "Well, Tracy, you don't understand, this working for me." I'm gonna share my
Right.
story. What
Right.
I used to do, and when it stopped working, after a while, it's gonna stop working
Right.
because what
Right.
it is your body's going through like a shock. So you're shocking the body, and when the body's shocked, what's it gonna do? It's gonna try to remove anything that's in excess because it's in fight or flight mode, right?
Okay.
So
Exactly.
you're removing the nutrition, you're removing, the certain food items and whatnot. So it's like, oh my gosh, let me now go use this secondary source of energy to whatever. But after a while,
Hmm.
that's
Yes.
gonna stop,
It will
and
shut
then it's
down.
gonna stall,
Yeah.
and your body's gonna shut down, and then other
Yeah.
things will start to shut down as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so, so, so true. And I'm glad that you were willing to share this because, yes, it's very hard to tell a person, oh, I'm losing. This is working. Before I did this, it wasn't working. But you got to think about the longer term effects
Long term.
and how that's impacting your body. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you are no longer having anxiety. You're no longer having insomnia. Your meds
Jesus!
are, I think you're off of them now, or is it just really, really low now?
Off.
Off. Praise God, you off,
Mhm.
and all of that is just the power of food. And when it's done right, yes, you can have fun food. Yes, today's Taco Tuesday. Yes, Tracy's about to have her some tacos today. She should. Yes, you can enjoy your cookies from Subway. But the thing is, that's that 80-20 rule. And so we want to be food is for fun and food is for nutrition. And that's really what my mission is, what my ministry is, and what we're trying to in this talk, trying to relay that you don't have to go through such extreme measures to get the job done. and you want to stay ready. Tracy's
Of
now
course.
on trouble. She's going to stay ready, not, oh, I want to get into this dress in 3 months, so I got to lose 50 pounds.
Stay
you
ready.
know,
That's how I was able to put on that red dress. I was like, I could fit this. I
yes.
could fit it. Whew. Oh
Mhm.
shoot.
Yes. So thank you so much, Tracy, for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
You are such a blessing. Your story, I know is helpful. You got a lot of good comments here. A lot of people was thankful that you shared your story. And you got a comment about saying they're glad that you do not have headaches and fatigue
Oh Jesus.
anymore. And so, again, you were very inspirational. And so I thank you all for tuning in, and definitely share this. And so you can listen to the replay. And I will be back with you next week, same handle, live on next Tuesday. So everybody have a blessed evening. Thank you again,
Bye,
Tracey.
everybody.